Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We are doing a number of series on how planets, when they transit over other planets, what kind of manifestation they give, what kind of results they give, and what kind of probabilities they throw up. So in this line we have done the transit of Jupiter over other planets. We also did the transit of Rahu over other planets, which means the transit of a planet over the planet's place in your natal chart, in your birth chart. So over the 9 planets in your birth chart, including that of Jupiter or Rahu, when these planets transit over the natal position of your birth chart placements of planets in your birth chart, what are the denotations it may give you. So we have done Jupiter and Rahu so far. Today we will do the third planet in the series. We are first doing the longer duration transit planets, which is Jupiter, then Rahu and Ketu, and then we will be doing Saturn. So today we will be talking about the transit of Ketu over the natal position of your other planets in the horoscope, what kind of manifestation they will give you, what kind of opportunities they will throw up, what kind of probabilities they will give you, what kind of challenges they may give you, and what kind of results they may give you. Now remember, before we get into the transit of Ketu over other planets, Ketu is a planet of negation. Ketu is a planet of separation and a sudden separation, because Ketu, the deity, has a sharp object in his hand. So whenever Ketu goes over any house or any sign or any planet, Ketu will bring about some detachment, some lesson learning, some sanitization, some cleansing, if the denotation of that particular house or sign or planet which Ketu is going over, we have not been true to that energy, we have not been fair to that energy, we have not done a karma related to that energy. Why so? Because Ketu is a planet of negation, but it is also a planet of completing the karma. Ketu stands for wherever your karma has been completed, wherever you have lived, you have done that, been there and done that. So when Ketu goes over any other house or sign, especially in its transit, it checks for whether you have checked or cleaned or completed the task of that particular house or that particular planet over which it is going. If you have not done, then Ketu will do some sanitization, some cleansing, and Ketu may also give you an opportunity in terms of a new challenge that Ketu may also throw up for you. So Ketu's transit over any house, any sign, any planet, especially on natal chart, especially when it is going over the Kendra houses or the Dusthanas, become very, very important. Of course, over every house, but these houses become very, very critical. So let's jump in and see how Ketu, when it's transit over the other 9 placements of planets in your horoscope, what kind of manifestation it will throw up. So let's start with when Ketu goes over the natal placement of Sun in your horoscope. Sun represents authority, accountability, responsibility, your sense of pride, self-respect, and also your ability to take leadership and complete tasks, taking full accountability for the task that you have taken up, the role which has been given to you, and wherever Sun is placed in the horoscope. So when Ketu goes over the natal placement of Sun, Ketu checks for have you been responsible, have you been accountable, both for where Sun is placed and which house Sun rules. So if Ketu sees that you have not taken responsibility for the area where Sun is placed, say for example, if Sun is placed in the Lagna itself, and Ketu finds that there is some area of the Lagna which in fact represents your entire life, where you have not given proper focus, you have not given proper attention, where you have not taken accountability, where you have not taken responsibility for the results of that house, then Ketu will throw a spanner and will check for completion of that task, or also give you challenging results for that house, or will also negate you or bring to light some new challenge. So if Ketu is going over Sun, which is placed in your Lagna, mind you, Lagna is about your purpose of life, what you will be aiming to do in your life, how your health will be, what is your status, what is your respect in society, and so on. So if any of these you have not taken accountable for your own actions, for example, if you have not taken accountability for your health, you have neglected your health. So when Ketu is going over Sun in the Lagna, it will throw up a challenge because it is going over the Lagna, mind you, and Sun is about responsibility, and you have not taken responsibility for your health, you have done nothing. So Ketu may give you a health scare. Suddenly some challenge may happen to you, because of which you have to run to the clinic, to the hospital to run tests, and then suddenly you wake up, no, I need to do this, I need to take care of my health, I need to exercise, I need to go to the gym, I need to be more careful about my diet, I have to move away from addiction and all that. So Ketu will test you in some area related to where Sun is placed. It may check whether you have a certain purpose of life or not, whether you're doing anything about your life, or you're leading a purposeless life where you're just chasing materialism and you're not taking the responsibility for knowing what the purpose of life is, what you need to do, where you need to move, what will you stand for, what will be the legacy you will leave behind. So where is the leadership that you will show, in which area of life will you show leadership? If there is no purpose of life, you have not done anything, Ketu will separate you from one result of life. For example, Ketu may suddenly separate you from chasing materialism, where a job may go or an investment may go, and then suddenly you wake up that why am I facing these challenges, what am I doing? So you wake up because of a challenge in your life, because health challenge, or because of loss of a job or loss of investment. You sit up and think about, what am I doing, where am I heading, is this what I want to do, is this what I want to chase, is there a larger purpose of life? All these questions you begin to ask. And because Ketu is also about being there, completing everything, so your Ketu also expects you to, now when the opportunity is given to you, from now on at least, take more responsibility, take more accountability. If you are not taking accountability even after that, because there are 18 months that Ketu transits, so during any of these periods, Ketu may test your ability to take up accountability or responsibility. So Ketu may also negate you one result and put you into some other accountability, take you away from one responsibility, give you an added responsibility. Either it will reduce its stature in society by giving you a sudden push, because of which people will take a backseat away, maybe even move away from you, and you will feel, what did I do wrong? Why people are moving away? For example, a celebrity who has been doing very well, suddenly the person is not doing well, the person is mired in some controversy, people want to take a backseat. So you may get a backseat in your job, you may take a backseat in your relationship. So some challenge which may come by, because of which the stature of yours in society or respect may also be reduced. So there are many areas that Ketu may test you. So if Ketu is going over Sun, whichever house it is, here we are talking about Lagna. So here, responsibility for overall life, responsibility for health, responsibility for your own respect in society, responsibility for knowing what your purpose of life is. So wherever your Sun is placed, if Ketu is going over, please ensure from now on at least you should take responsibility for that area, accountability for that area, lest you go through a tougher challenge, because of which your self-respect is compromised, your ability to take responsibility is compromised, your leadership from now on is also compromised. If Ketu is going over Mercury, over your natal chart placement of Mercury, what is the planet Mercury responsible for? Mercury stands for intellectual ability, your ability to take logical decisions, practical decisions, thought through decisions, and taking decisions after weighing the pros and cons of a number of issues, number of factors, and then taking a decision. So it is not about taking emotional decisions, but practical, logical, thought through, analyzed decisions, intellectual decisions. But Mercury is also the planet of communication by virtue of ruling Gemini, and also self-enterprise, your own willpower, your own motivation. But Mercury also rules the Virgo sign of service, of animosity, of enemies, of having competition and facing competition. So if Ketu is going over the natal position of Mercury, and if Ketu finds you have not been somebody who is serving for the cause of humanity or some cause, but you are chasing materialism and you are taking logical decisions only about your career or whatever will serve only you, you are not taking any logical or intellectual decisions to see what you can do more for others, where you can contribute, and in relationship, in softer aspects, you are being too logical rather than being emotional, and you're not being able to balance, and you're creating unnecessary animosities, you're creating unnecessary enemies, especially at work, because Virgo, the 6th house, also represents those people who work below you. So if you're mistreating people, you're being too analytical, you're being too complaining, you're being too finger pointing in your relationships, you are trying to be a perfectionist, you don't do this, you don't do that, and you're not allowing people to be who they are, accepting who they are, while trying to help them to make those improvements which you want in them. So if you are that person who is making somebody's life miserable because of how analytical you are, how complaining you are, how perfectionist you are, and your communication is crass, and you are not yourself taking responsibility or working hard towards getting those results, but using your ability to analyze, complain, and finger point. Second is if you have been somebody who has not kept your word, because the third house is the house of communication also, which Gemini sign represents, ruled by Mercury. So if you are somebody who doesn't keep your word, you give your word to somebody, you make a promise, but you break the promise, then too zodiac punishes you. Ketu punishes you by suddenly taking you away from either the relationship or the responsibility or whatever power and influence you have, because of which you are able to give a word. For example, you are a boss, you gave the word to a subordinate saying, if you work very hard for a year, if I find your performance good, then I will promote you, or I will push your case for promotion. But at the end of the year, in spite of knowing the person has worked hard, you go back on your promise. You make a promise to your children that I will take you for a holiday if you do get good results, I will take you on an international vacation or whatever, or I'll buy this bike to you, or do something for you, and you don't do that, you forget your promise. Or you take money from somebody and you promise that you will pay back the money to a friend who has loaned it to you in your bad times, and then you have forgotten the promise, you're not keeping the promise. So there too, because you're not keeping the word, Ketu may also come down heavily on you. And because Gemini energies is also dual-mindedness, Ketu will push the dual-minded energy to be or higher, which means you will suddenly feel more confused. When Ketu goes over your natal Mercury, it absorbs, takes away the energy of the planet to take really strong decisions based on the strength of the planet. It takes away the strength of the planet and makes you suffer. So it may lead to more confusion. What to take, what not to do, what decisions to be able to take forward and what not to take forward, whether to marry somebody or not marry somebody, whether to join a job or not. So it leaves you very confused during its transit over Mercury. So it's important, it's a wake up period for you, rather than being at the end of Ketu's testing period for you, checking, sanitizing, cleansing. It's better that before Ketu goes over your Mercury, or if it's already going over your Mercury, before a drastic decision is taken by Ketu, you sit up, you take notice and you take accountability. Work on your communication skills. Remember, if you have given your word to anybody, ensure that you keep your word, and stop being more complaining, stop being the more perfectionist oriented, asking others to do. You bend your back and you complete the task, yet keeping the relationship intact. And that is the manifestation of Ketu when it goes over the natal placement of Mercury. Now when Ketu goes over the natal placement of Venus in your birth chart, wherever Venus is, whichever houses Venus rules. What is Venus? Venus is your attraction, Venus is your romance, your love. Venus is also what you're interested in, especially artistic ability. Venus is also the better quality of life. Venus is also your relationships. Venus is also, by virtue of ruling Libra sign, a planet of balance. Venus is also your nourishment, the money which comes in, the remuneration which comes in, the livelihood which comes in. So when Ketu goes over Venus, Ketu also checks, so far what have you done in your romantic life, in your intimate life, in the quality of life, in your emotions, in your relationship. Have you been committed? Have you been loyal? Or you have cheated around? Have you been true to your romance? Have you been true to your responsibility in romance? Have you cheated somebody? Have you lied to somebody? Or if you've cheated somebody and you have been dishonest to somebody else without telling them that you have cheated and this is a second relationship. So whatever it is. Or if you have 2 or 3 simultaneous romantic relationships together, then Ketu will be somebody, Ketu will be an energy, will test that relationship, will test that new attraction, new intimacy in your life. So what Ketu does is sanitizes, cleanses. So if Ketu finds that you are in a relationship which you truly don't deserve because of your track record of being in a romantic relationship, in a loyal, committed relationship, not being true. So when Ketu goes over either Libra sign or over Venus sign, then Ketu will sanitize that relationship away from you, cut off the relationship away from you. And you will find usually during that time when Ketu is either going over Libra or Ketu is going over Venus, It brings you very, very tough results connected to relationship. It does not allow you to settle into a relationship, or it does not allow those relationships which suit you, which serve you, because you don't have a good track record. Even when somebody comes in your life who may be the right person for you, Ketu will negate that relation to you. Maybe the other person will suddenly leave you, or Ketu will create circumstances because of which the relationship will break. However, Ketu not only about relationship, but even in the quality of life. If you are somebody who chases always quality of life, trying to live it up, wanting the best brands, not taking care of your money, not taking care of your investment, then Ketu suddenly takes away your source of income, reduces the source of income, creates a challenges in your source of income, or does some action because of which it erodes your complete savings, throws up new challenges because of which your savings suddenly disappear, and you feel, what has happened to me? So few months before and few months into the Ketu transit over that particular house or over Venus you are talking about here, you will find those challenges will come in, either in your savings, money, or in your relationship, or in your committed relationship, or in the quality of life that you are leading. Then Ketu also leaves you very confused about relationship. Is this the right relationship with me? Is the right person for me? And it makes you chase the wrong people, chase the wrong quality of life, chase the wrong money, chase the wrong sources of money. So in short, Ketu will negate some results, detach you from some results, or bring about new tests in the current relationship, in your current remuneration, in your current livelihood, in your current romance also. So it may either negate you some results, detach you from results, or it may create new challenges. So if Ketu is going over your Venus, then be a little careful. Especially if Venus is very afflicted, Venus is debilitated, Venus is combusted, Venus is in a bad dosha, then this could be a very trying period for you. Or the coming phase, if Ketu is going to go over your Venus, then be better prepared, because those 18 months could be one of the very, very trying periods for you when Ketu goes over the natal placement of Venus. Now when Ketu goes over the natal placement of your moon, what is your moon? Moon is your emotions. Moon is also where your attachments are, where your love and affection is, where your assets are, whatever assets you have built, the tangible asset that you have built over a period of time. Moon is also your understanding. Moon is also your ability to empathize with others, to support others, to nourish others. So when Ketu goes over natal moon, Ketu will test you in some emotions, in some relations, or something that you're connected to. So if you have a strong emotional attachment to a relationship, or a thing, or an item, or to work, or to a cause, Ketu will test you most there, especially if you have not followed that commitment so far. If you have not done the commitment in your emotional attachment, say to your children, or to your mother, or your father, or to your spouse, or to a cause which you said you are attached to and you need to do something about it, but you have not done. So wherever your moon is, there is some responsibility that you need to support the areas of that house. If moon is in your 11th house, then you need to do something for society. You need to attach yourself to a cause. Moon is in the 6th house, then you need to attach yourself to a cause to serve others, the most downtrodden. If you have not done that, then Ketu will surely test you. Ketu may detach you from some asset. Ketu may detach you from some emotional connection that you have. Ketu may detach you from your kids. They may go away to a far off place, maybe to study or something, but now you don't have access to them and you suffer at an emotional level. Or Ketu may also test the threads of your relationship, may detach you from a relationship and make you suffer emotionally. So Ketu going over moon is a test of your emotions, your ability to empathize with others. And if so far Ketu has given you many chances to empathize with others, understand other people's challenges, support them, nourish them, but in spite of opportunity after opportunity given to you to empathize with others, to support others, to stand up for people, to support people and nourish them in some way or the other, to the poor, to the downtrodden, to the team members, to neighbors, to the extended family members, but you have done none of it. Then Ketu will sanitize those results, detach you from some of it, or bring new challenges to you. Ketu may also bring challenges on your health, especially emotional health. Ketu may really take you down, make you very, very frustrated, very, very anxious, very, very fearful also. And Ketu may take you to the extremes, make you feel very high one day, take you to the extremes of almost despair on some other days. If you have made assets, but you have not made assets the right way, then Ketu may also test your assets. New challenges may come in. Ketu may detach you from some asset. Ketu may erode some of your investments that you have made. All these challenges may come up, and Ketu sometimes also detach you. Ketu sometimes also detaches you from a relation. Not because you may lose the relationship because something may happen to the relative, but also a new challenge may come in between you and some relation of yours, because of which the relationship may sour, and then it will take a lot of time, and it will take a lot of you taking responsibility for the relationship and turning it correct before Ketu brings it back on an even keel. So if Ketu is going over your moon or is about to go over your moon, open your eyes, think about what you have not done so far. If you have not taken up a cause, you have not helped somebody, you have not given nourishment to people where the opportunity was given to you, and you have mistreated an attachment, an emotional attachment, or if you have made your assets through illegal means, unethical means, then it is your time to wake up and to do those corrections on an emotional front, also responsibility front. If Ketu is going over the natal position of your Mars in your horoscope, what is Mars? Mars is your goals. Mars is also the killer instinct for you to be able to get your goals and to be able to fight against all odds, to be able to observe, to be able to get the goals accomplished. So firstly, Mars is also about having worthwhile goals, not those worthless goals sometimes where we chase, we want so much money, now I want so much more money, I want an extra house, now I want a bigger car, now I want a corner office. All these worthless goals, all materialistic related goals, or fighting for something which is not so much worth fighting for. For example, fighting for a promotion over colleagues in spite of knowing you may not be deserving it, or fighting with family members at home, or fighting with your spouse at home. Unnecessary conflicts you get into, unnecessary temperament you show, unnecessary temper you may show, and thus causing fear in some people. Maybe your spouse fears you, maybe your romantic partner fears you, maybe your children fear you, maybe the people who are working under you fear you, maybe they resent you, they don't like your temper, they don't like that explosive energy that you suddenly explode, or they don't like you unnecessarily trying to compete with them, or which they feel that it is rightfully theirs. Secondly, Mars also rules the Lagna in the Kal Purush Kundli. So is there something which is a higher goal in your life that you're working towards, or you're living your life by default? There is no life by design that you're leading. There is no higher goal in your life. There is no goal that you're looking towards, and you're also somebody who is ignoring the regular signals which is being thrown at you that you need to chase worthwhile goals. You need to take up something which is higher, something which will elevate your soul. You're doing none of it. You're chasing worthwhile goals. Your focus and your energy, all your effort is in materialistic desires, or towards addictions, or materialistic collections which have nothing to do with the higher purpose of life, higher purpose for the soul, higher purpose to do something more so that your soul elevates. Then Ketu will give you a challenge. Ketu with Mars together, Mars is a warrior. Mars is also an energy of detaching you, and Ketu is the biggest negator. So when Mars and Ketu come together, or when Ketu is going over the natal position of Mars, the biggest challenge for you is surgery. The surgery may be either the physical surgery, whichever place Mars is placed, whichever house Mars is placed, the area of the body, or it could also be an emotional surgery, or it could also be a surgery of some goal being taken away from you, some results being taken away from you, some responsibility taken away from you, because you have not chosen worthwhile goals here. And Ketu may test you that if I leave you goalless, if I leave you out of your job or out of your responsibility, then what do? Do you then choose worthwhile goals? Do you then find out what is the higher goal that you need to do, or you still don't do? So Ketu, when it goes over Mars, it is one of the biggest sanitization energies. It will cut you off. Secondly, Ketu may also bring upon some secrets which you have not known so far. Some secrets may tumble out of the closet. Sometimes your secrets may tumble out of the closet also, because it is about the Scorpio energies which Mars represents. So if Ketu is going over Mars, it's very, very important that you sit up, take notice, especially if it's just started to go over Mars or about to go over Mars in the next transit of Ketu. Then you need to be careful that do you have worthwhile goals? Is there a larger goal that you're chasing? Is there a spiritual elevation goal that you're connected to? Is there a humanity oriented goal that you're doing? Is there a problem solving, healing oriented goal that you're doing? And do you have control over your temperament? Do you have control over your temper or not? Or you are testing everybody around you because of your worthless goals, materialistic goals, or unnecessary temper tantrum that you throw at people. That is the manifestation when Ketu goes over the natal position of Mars in your horoscope. Now, when Ketu goes over the natal position of Jupiter over your horoscope, Jupiter is a planet of learning, experiential learning, gurus, expertise, being large-hearted, bringing prosperity, bringing abundance to your life and to others also. So, when Ketu goes over Jupiter, whatever Karaka Jupiter is and responsible for those areas of life, those areas that manifest goodness, prosperity, learning, knowledge, wisdom and so on. So, Ketu tests whether you have been true to the energies of Jupiter that has been given to you, or there has been a shortfall in how you carry your energies of Jupiter, the experiential learning of Jupiter. Firstly, have you used your knowledge, your learning and life's experiences properly? If you have been given higher qualification of education, what have you done with it? Have you, in spite of getting very highly qualified, you have chased something which is because of being more materialistic, you have let alone the higher qualification because you feel that is not getting you the money, that is not getting the moolah in. Secondly, you have not learned from life's experiences. You may have gone through some ups and downs, but you have brushed them aside. You have not even taken into account, why have I faced these challenges? What is the life's learning for me in it? What is the higher manifestation of that? Is there some larger message for me? Is there a more spiritual message for me? And is your faith being tested? Your belief being tested? Maybe your belief in learning being tested? Maybe your belief in humanity itself being tested? What have you done so far? Then, if you have been given opportunities where you could be large-hearted, where you could be more helpful, you could be more giving, have you done that? Or have you been miserly in how you use your education, how you use your learning, how you use your abundance that the zodiac has been given to you, and you become miserly to keep everything to yourself? You don't share learning, you don't share wisdom, you don't share advice, the right advice, you don't share the goodness, and you are somebody who has a small heart and you have not been large-hearted to people. You have not been more forgiving and you have not been more liberal in your mindset. You have not been somebody who's more accepting. Then Ketu will test you. Ketu will give you more challenges in life, will throw up those situations which will really test your wisdom to the utmost, will test your knowledge, will test your learning, will test your ability to be more calm and poised, and may also test you by giving you those challenges, maybe financially, maybe materialistically also, because of which it will check whether you still have a large heart also, whether you're still being more giving or not, whether you're still being broad-minded or not. So with Ketu's transit over Jupiter, it may dry up all abundance, all prosperity, all growth, or opportunity to use your wisdom accurately. You may start taking wrong decisions because Ketu is taking away all, absorbing away all the energy of Jupiter to take the right decisions, to be more wise, to be more liberal, to be more large-hearted. If you are on the wrong side of maybe 40s or 50s, this may also test you, especially diabetes or any health related, cholesterol related, heart related, some of the other challenges also Ketu may throw up. If you have not been wise in your diet, if you have not been wise in your lifestyle, because Jupiter is also the Jiva Karaka, the life giver. So when Ketu goes over Jupiter, you may also feel that almost the life is being sucked out of you. You're not being able to take the right decisions. And only when Ketu passes over Jupiter, then you realize, I didn't do this, I could have done this, I could have taken this decision, this was more wiser. So Ketu will also test you in your ability to take the wiser decisions, to be more liberal. So if Ketu is upon your Jupiter or going to transit over Jupiter in the near future, in this next transit, then be aware and use this time to prepare yourself mentally also to be more giving, to be more large-hearted, to learn from life experiences, learn from life challenges. If not, Ketu will throw more challenges at you, because in the last challenges it gave you, you didn't learn anything. And that is the manifestation of Ketu when it goes over the natal position of Jupiter. Now when Ketu goes over the natal position of Saturn in your horoscope, Saturn is the karmic equalizer. Saturn is the planet of your karma, duty, dedication, commitment, also organization, also structure, also being loyal, also being duty bound, and also following rules and regulations. So when Ketu goes over Saturn, it checks and tests whether so far you have been somebody who is very duty oriented, you have been somebody who's been very responsible, who's been very practical, who has been a hard worker, who has been a team worker, who has always tried to help those people who are his or her colleagues, who has tried to help his colleagues who work below him, has been somebody who is very loyal to his bosses, to the superiors at work, have followed rules and regulations, have followed conventions, not followed or chased taboo subjects, has been organized, has been disciplined. If you have been, Ketu will reward you, and Ketu may award you better, because Saturn is the planet of karma. So if you live up to your karma, Ketu also gives you new opportunities. Otherwise, Ketu being the canceller, Ketu being the negator, Ketu being the detacher, first thing Ketu does when it goes over natal Saturn, if you have not been true to the position and the energies of Saturn, it brings more miseries, it brings you more challenges, it makes you almost soft when Ketu goes over Saturn. One of the important things Ketu does many a times is it affects your livelihood, it affects your work, it affects your ability to be able to bring in the materialistic gains, it affects your ability to have stability at work, it affects your ability to grow, it affects your ability to be acknowledged and appreciated by your bosses or authority figures. It creates fears in your mind whether you will have a stable job, whether you will have a job at all or not. It creates challenges from your colleagues, it creates challenges from the people who work below you, it creates challenges from your bosses. Sometimes if you have not been disciplined, if you have not been organized, then Ketu will throw into positions where it will force you to be more organized, or you go down the drain. It will bring you more workload, because of which you have to get up early, do more work, take up more responsibilities, chase your bosses to be able to approve things, and it will make your life miserable. If you have had an easier life, comparatively easier life so far, yet you have not done anything, you have not used Saturn's energies to help others, to be more humane, to help colleagues, to help the people who are below you, to help others to earn their remuneration also. And if you have not done your karma, you have not taken up a societal cause also. So loyalty and commitment is one of the important things which Ketu will test when it goes over Saturn. And Ketu may also throw up situations because of which you will test it, whether you can continue to be somebody who is loyal or committed or not. Maybe in your relationship, maybe to your bosses, maybe to your organization, working within the conventions, working within the rules and regulations. If you are able to do that, then well and good. If not, then it's a very testing period for you. So if Ketu is already going over your natal position of Saturn, or in the next transit it will be going over your natal position of Saturn, be very, very careful. This could be one of the most testing periods, because your karma is involved. All your karmic debts, Ketu may suddenly make you pay for them. Either it will take away your livelihood, it may take away the stability in your life, stability in your emotional life, stability in your relationship, stability in your assets, stability in your income, stability in your career too. So be prepared, and if you have not been true to any of these, maybe disciplined in diet, disciplined in work, organized in your work, loyal and committed, following rules and conventions, being loyal to your bosses, helping those people below you, then it's your chance to sit up, smell the coffee, right now start doing that. And if Ketu is going to transit over Saturn, then you still have time, get your act corrected while you still have time. Now if Ketu goes over the natal position of Rahu in your horoscope, Ketu is the karma already done, Rahu is the karma that you need to do, but Rahu is also your greed, your hunger. You are chasing for material results, you are chasing for those subjects which are taboo, for chasing those things which are not belonging to you, which are somebody else's, and you don't care wherever your Rahu is, you want to get that by hook or by crook. If you need to manipulate your way, so be it. If you need to do some wrong practices, unethical practices, so be it. So if Ketu, when it is going over Rahu, it checks for and it finds that you have been unethical in certain areas of your life, you have lied, you have manipulated data, you have fudged data, you have concealed facts, you have concealed secrets, you have done those things which you have to keep in secret because they are immoral, they are not within society's boundaries, you have shirked work, you have procrastinated, then too, Ketu will make you work harder. Ketu will take away any aspiration that you have. Ketu will make you rethink on the aspirations that you have, goals that you have, the materialistic desires that you may have. Ketu may dry up some of the materialistic results to you. Ketu may dry up the quality of life that you have been chasing. Some results may be negated to you. If you have lied, you may be caught, you may be exposed, you may be brought down with a thud. Rahu is going up very fast, but Rahu is also coming down with a third very fast. And Ketu is the planet which will do the surgery, which will do the cleansing, which will do the sanitization, not only of your materialism, your assets, your relationship, but also at a spiritual level. So when Ketu goes over the natal position of Rahu, this can be a placement where a number of factors could be checked. If you have cheated, this is a placement which will really take you to the cleaners. You may be exposed in every way. No relationship may survive. Your friends may desert you. Your bosses may not come to your aid. Your manipulations may show up. People will not start believing in you. Your lies may be caught. Your cheating may be caught. Your investments may go down the drain because you chase money. If you have not used your education properly and you chase materialism without using your qualification properly, then your qualification may be of no use from now on. Your skills, your competence may be not used from now on also. So, number of challenges Ketu may throw up because Rahu represents the karma in this life, and if you have not done or if you have not been true to the karma, especially wherever Rahu is placed. So, if Ketu is going over Rahu, it may test you in a number of ways. It may test you in your remuneration, it may test you in your relationship, it may test you in your desires, it may test you in your intimacy, it may test you in your attractions, your attachments. It may test you in your greed. So, whichever is the biggest goal that you have, it will create doubts in your attainment of that. It will create doubts in your stability in those factors. So, Ketu going over Rahu is the biggest wake-up call that are you chasing unreasonable goals? Are you chasing unreliable goals? Are you chasing unethical goals? And it will want you to set up, take responsibility, chase cleaner goals, chase cleaner methods, use loyal, committed ways, rather than using manipulation, rather than using lies. And to be able to curb your greed and to also share. If you have been given abundance, Rahu has taken you to heights of growth, of money, of materialistic attachment, of materialistic results also, then you also have to share those with others. It is not only for you. So if Ketu is going over your natal position of Rahu or will be going over your natal position of Rahu in the coming transit, so before those challenges come upon you which may drain your name, fame, your respect, your standing in society, may take you down to the dumps, wake up, smell the coffee, correct your actions, correct your unethical behavior, correct your unreasonable dreams and demands, clean away any addictions, any wrong things that you have taken about as your habits, and create those goals which will not only help in your life, in attaining your life cleaner, but also in your spiritual elevation. Now, if Ketu is going over the natal position of Ketu in your horoscope, this is one of the best placements to really think hard about what have you done so far in your life, and also to think hard about your karma, also to think hard about your faith and belief in the zodiac, in the goodness, and in the positive karma that you can attain. Lot of questions need to be asked, that what have you done with your life so far? Have you earned better karma, or have you accumulated negative karma? This can be also a placement of very high spiritual elevation. Ketu may take you towards spirituality. If you have not done so far, Ketu may bring up huge challenges, biggest challenges where you have nowhere else to go but to turn towards the Almighty, to turn towards the superior energy. Only when in today's time, when you have nothing left, then you think of God, you think of spirituality, you think of some superior energy which may be able to help you, because nothing is working. So Ketu will see if you have not done your karma so far, you have not tried to do some spiritual elevation, you have chased materialism, you have not been more giving, you have not been more charitable, you have not cultivated a donating heart, then Ketu will force you to rethink. Sometimes Ketu takes away almost everything in your life, and Ketu goes over its natal position for you to think that what did I come into this life for. Sometimes because of good karma, Ketu also makes you more spiritual. Sometimes as a punishment also takes away everything, so that you now at least turn towards the spiritual energy. At least now you think about the spiritual elevation, because you have not done it so far. And because Ketu also co-rules Scorpio along with Mars, so some of the biggest obstacles, some of the biggest upheavals, some of the biggest transformations, some of the biggest changes come to you when Ketu Dasha Antardasha happens, but most when Ketu is transiting over the natal position of Ketu. So friends, if you have not been somebody who looked at your karma, you have not looked at your spiritual elevation, you have not solidified your faith and belief in the zodiac, in the goodness of the zodiac, not done anything for the humanity, not done anything so far, you can put another flag of achievement in the areas of spiritual elevation, in the areas of doing something for the others, doing something for the humanity, then it's your time. Especially as Ketu has just started to go over the natal position of Ketu, or in the next transit, Ketu is going to go over Ketu. So save yourself from the biggest punishment that the zodiac can give you or may give you when Ketu goes over Ketu, but turn towards spirituality, turn towards being more giving, turn towards humanity, turn towards and cultivate a more giving heart, more donating heart, and only through goodness, faith, belief in the superior energy and turning your goals towards more spiritual elevation of the soul will you be able to survive the energy which comes together when Ketu goes over the natal placement of Ketu. So friends, now that we have discussed Ketu's transit over 9 other planets in your natal chart, be prepared over which planet Ketu will be transiting right now it is or in the coming times, and keep in mind where when Ketu goes over which planetary placement, what manifestation that it can bring about. It can be the biggest sanitization, biggest cleansing at one go. It can do completely negative away from the results of that house or the planet, and so it is to be better prepared and to be more safer than sorry. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me. The link given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is the friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.